Bonjour YouTube, welcome back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about early access Yahoda. I already made a video on Durin. If you haven't watched it, feel free to go check it out. I already made a video on the Hexarai characters. And yeah, Yahoda is releasing in like 2 or 3 days, maybe when I'm posting this video, I'm not sure yet. And I got to test her a little bit and play her a little bit, and I was really excited for her release. At first, when I saw the Nokrai trailer, so before Nokrai release, I think she was the one I was the least interested in, just like visually. But then meeting her in the story, going through all this stuff through the story with her, and all her expressions and stuff like that, she was really fun. I really enjoyed her, and she was actually probably my most like the character I was excited the most for after Nokrai started. And yeah, I'm a bit disappointed with her kit. I will go over all of it, but yeah, she's not as strong as Sucrose after doing some testings. So, and you kind of want the C6 for her to be even like good. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but she's still cute. She's still fun. So if you like her, she's definitely nice. C0 is going to be enough for her to be just doing fine with her job. The good thing about her is that her C6 is really good. It gives some crit value to your DPS, your Nokrai DPS. So it is pretty nice. And yeah, she might work better in the future as well. I don't know. But yeah, I will just explain her kit, give you some recommendations in terms of weapons and artifacts and talent priorities, go over her constellations and showcase a little bit her gameplay with Flynn's, with Nefer. And one thing as well with Yahoda is that you cannot play her outside of a Nokrai team. So you have to play her with Flynn's or with Inefa. I mean, you can just do Inefa, Yahoda, and then bring some other stuff. But yeah, you have to play her with another Nokrai because her passive... I mean, her skill only works if you have a second Nokrai in the team, if you have the Ascendant Gleam Moon Sign. So yeah. So first, I'll just go over her materials real quick. So you can see her materials. She uses the same boss as Lama, and then she uses the same materials as Aino. So make sure you pre-farm that if you need and if you want to build her. In terms of Ascension stats, she ascends with bonus healing. So it's a little bit more healing for her burst. So it is kind of nice, but nothing crazy. And then after that, for weapons, so she has a lot of options in terms of weapons. Like, you can use basically anything. Here, I'm showcasing the new event bow that gives energy main stat plus some attack on the passive. And then after that, basically what you want to get on Yahoda as weapons, if you're not using this, is going to be either Favonius. Favonius is probably going to be the most consistent option. Doesn't need like a ton of energy, but she still needs a little bit, especially if you don't get constellations. So Elegy for the end as a support weapon is going to be great. And then after that, it's going to be Favonius, or you can go with like any attack or ER bow that exists, and it's going to be fine. Like, you can craft a Nokrai weapon, and yeah, that's basically it. After that, in terms of artifacts, her best option is definitely going to be Viridescent Venerer. Similar to Sucrose, if you play her with Flynn's team, you want to get that Electro Swell if possible, and reduce the resistance of the enemy. So Viridescent is going to be the most easy option for her to build. Get a bunch of ER and attack, and she's going to be fine. In terms of talent, so you will want to level up the skill and the burst. Leveling up the skill is only going to be a little bit of damage, so it's not really the priority. The priority will really be the burst. The burst will increase the healing of Yahoda, so if you're looking for a healer, it's going to be nice. And then after that, on her passives, depending what element you have in your team, her skill will have different abilities. Nothing crazy, a bit of healing extra if you have Hydro, a bit more damage on her skill if you have Pyro. Cryo will make it so her skill will attack a bit faster, and then Electro will make it so she will have an extra robot to attack. So it's nice. Her damage is not crazy, but it will give her a bit more elemental application with some of those abilities. And then on her second passive, if you heal a character that has more than 70% of their HP, she will increase their EM by 100. So it's a little bit of EM boost, which is pretty nice. And then finally, the last one is that she will increase the moon sign by 1. So yeah, if you play her with Aino, if you play her with Inefa, if you play her with Flynn's, you will get that Ascendant Gleam moon sign and get all the Nokrai buffs. So in terms of gameplay, her skill will basically infuse an element that you already have applied on an enemy. So let's say you play Flins with Fischl or Nefer, you will want to apply Electro on the enemy, then use your Yahoda to swirl and infuse the element from the enemy, and then you want to use your Aino or your other Electro character and then start with your Flynn's rotation. So it's a little bit slow, as you can see here. When you use your skill, it takes a bit of time to fill the gauge and then release the skill. If you miss your skill from the enemy, it's just going to be canceled, like it's going to be on cooldown, and you will have to wait like 13 seconds. So it's a little bit of a, like, it's going to be bad if you miss your skill, so make sure you don't miss it. She dashes a little bit forward before, so if you're a tiny bit far, it's not too bad. You should still hit it. But yeah, you have to fill the gauge. You have to wait for the gauge to be filled, which is way longer than just using your skill on Sucrose, for example. And then after that, she will apply the element off field. So for example, in Nefer team as well, it can be nice to apply some more Hydro off field if you didn't have Aino, for example, or if you didn't build Aino, you can bring whatever Hydro and then bring Yahoda to apply the Hydro. So it gives you a bit more options in terms of off-field application. Viridescent doesn't proc off-field, by the way, so you got to keep that in mind as well. Maybe in some teams you can replace the Viridescent set for something else, but there's not a lot of sets that proc off-field, so you're still probably going to be the best option. And then yeah, her burst, basically when you use her burst, she will start healing your team over time. So yeah, it's not going to be a big healing burst as soon as you press the burst. You'll have to wait like a little bit before the healing starts proccing. So you just got to keep that in mind. It's not like a Gene burst or like a Sayu burst or something like that. You have to wait a little bit. She will also heal the lowest HP character a little bit more. So this is kind of nice. And yeah, the duration of the healing will last for 12 seconds. And as you can see here, with C0 Yahoda versus C6 Sucrose, the damage difference is, I mean, Sucrose is just way faster rotation. You don't have to wait for the gauge to fill. And she also gives more buffs with Threading Tails of Dragon Slayer, with her EM transfer, with also the Hexerite buffs that are coming soon. If you're playing with Fischl, it's going to be even more buffs from Fischl and from Sucrose. Technically, the Sucrose buff is not that important because it's damage bonus, so it's not as important for Flynn's, but it's still faster rotation, and the damage bonus is valuable for Flynn's or Nefer. So now the real strength of Yahoda, so I will go over the Constellations real quick. The C1 basically makes it so you can deal a bit of extra damage with her skill, so it's nice, but she doesn't really have a lot of damage, so it's not really that great. Like, it gives a bit more elemental application. So basically with her C2, she will count one more element, one more number for the elements in your team. So for example, with her previous passive, as I mentioned earlier, depending on how many characters of a certain element you have, the coordinated robots will have different extra abilities. So for example, in Flynn's teams, if you have double Electro, she will have an extra robot, and then your third character, let's say, is a Hydro, which is probably going to be the case. If you have Aino on top of it, then it will count an extra buff with the Hydro, so you will get the Electro buff from her passive and the Hydro buff from her passive, which is nice. But once again, like, it's all this is more damage from Yahoda, which she doesn't have that much, and a little bit more elemental application, which is not necessarily like that important in Flynn's teams and stuff like that, but it's okay. The C4 is basically going to be a bit more energy for Yahoda. She already has a little bit of energy in her main passive, so it's just going to make it a bit easier. She needs a lot of energy. She doesn't generate that much. With her skill, she will generate 3 or 4 particles, but you want to swap as soon as possible from her. As soon as her skill is out, you want to swap, so you don't want to wait for the particles or anything. So she's not going to be generating a lot of energy for herself. That's why I'm recommending Favonius or an energy recharge weapon. And then her C6 is the real strength of Yahoda. It gives 5% crit rate and 40% crit damage for 20 seconds after her skill hits. So this is really nice. It's a lot of crit value for your not cry DPS, but once again, like, the duration of her skill, of like charging her skill, The rest of her kit that doesn't really give any buffs other than maybe 100 EM from her passive. And yeah, it's not really crazy, and it's not really as good as Sucrose, unfortunately. But she's still going to be a good option if you want to mix things around. If you play Sucrose in another team, for example, for Stygian or for Abyss, you can definitely use Yahoda in those Nokrai team, mainly Flynn's. So she's still a nice option. But with Nefer teams, it's pretty nice because if you don't have Lauma and let's say you're using Aino with Flynn's, or you don't have your Aino built, you can basically just bring any Dendro and Hydro and then bring Yahoda. She will give you healing. She can infuse Hydro with her skill to keep applying Hydro. The good thing, honestly, the one thing that is good also about Yahoda's skill is that the duration is pretty long. It's a 20 seconds duration with a 15 seconds cooldown, so you can basically get 100% uptime on the skill, which is pretty nice, especially if you have the passive activated that will increase the amount of application and stuff like that. It is pretty nice. But yeah, her constellations are not insane other than the C6 that is pretty nice for Nokrai DPS. But yeah, I think overall, like, she's fun to play. Like, her animations and stuff are fun. She's cute. She synergizes still well with Flynn's and Nefer, but in terms of overall value, from a meta standpoint, she's not going to be able to replace Sucrose in most situations, and she's stuck with a Nokrai team, so you have to play her with at least 2 Nokrai. I mean, her and another Nokrai. So you can do some stuff with, like, Inefa, for example. You can do Inefa, Yahoda, and then do whatever you want. Like, you can do Farina with, like, another Electro DPS. It can be... You can do some cool stuff, to be fair. But in terms of overall value for an account, like, Sucrose is almost always going to be better. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about Yahoda. I hope you will still enjoy her. I'm definitely going to pull her. Hopefully try to get C6. And yeah, we'll test her out as soon as she's out on Wednesday as well with Durin. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.